I got cheated on in a point in my life where I was actually good with women. I wasn't necessarily insecure. I was maybe a little bit complacent, but I was actually good with women. And that's exactly why I got cheated on. But before I get into that, let's get back to the beginning. Let's rewind back the years. I'm 24 now. Back when I was 16, I was shy. I was scared of girls. I wouldn't even go up to a girl. I was a virgin. I was afraid of any interaction that involved a female. I actually lost my virginity when I turned 18. And if you knew me back then when I was a 16-year-old boy, and if you still know me now as a 24-year-old man, you would be surprised and shocked to see the absolute polar difference and opposite in confidence and just how I'm put together as a guy. You'd swear you were looking at two completely different people. I lost my virginity when I was 18, and to be honest, I kind of lost it more because I put pressure on myself to lose it because I thought it was socially unacceptable to have not lost it by that age. I wasn't actually 18, I was literally like the month before, so, basically 18. But I felt that pressure and I felt like I needed to do it. And I suppose this was the catapult, and I slowly, with time, got better with women. Now, before I get into the main part of the story, whether you're 18 or 50, whether you've had 10 relationships and you've not managed to maintain any of them, this is for anyone. This is for guys that are good at dating. This is for guys that are bad at dating. Because there is going to be something in here that at the very least resonates with you and things that you can learn from. Because I've made a hell of a lot of mistakes in my time, and I'm here to own them. I'm here for you to learn from them. This is for you. I'm opening up for you. Just after I lost my virginity, I turned 18. And at the age of 18, I started to, spring my life out into the dating world. And I started dating. And I got into a relationship fairly quick with a girl. My first love, you may say, at the age of 18. Whether I was in love or not, that's to be debated, maybe by somebody else. It was that very fickle young love where you think you're going to be together forever. And in the reality, when you look back, you're like, well, God, I was 18. Everybody at the time probably thought I was stupid when I was like, oh, this is my true love. I'm going to be with her together forever kind of thing. But you know what? For you younger guys out there, that's okay. It's okay to get carried away when you're young because you'll either learn from it or that'll blossom into a relationship that'll last forever. It'll probably be the first one of those two, but at least you'll learn from it. And the quicker you learn from it, to be honest, boys, the better. Because if I fast forward to the end of that relationship, my first ever heartbreak, and I think your first ever heartbreak is very important, boys, I didn't know how to deal with it. And nobody knows how to deal with it. It's almost like losing somebody, but they're not actually gone. It's like somebody dying, but they're still alive. They're dead to you in your life. And there's a lot of emotions that you're not going to know how to deal with. And for me, I turned to drinking, partying, nights out, endless flings and one-night stands that didn't really mean anything. And look, ultimately, over time, that's made me very good at dating, but was it fulfilling or was it just filling a black hole? Look, the reality is it was filling a black hole. And underneath it all, I didn't feel good about myself. Not even close. After that breakup, I did actually spend about a year and a half just clubbing and having fun. And to be honest, this is probably a good thing as a guy. I think you need to spread your wings. I think you need to, experience different levels in the dating world before you dive straight back in, which is a problem I will delve into later in this video. But for me, a year and a half later, I went on a holiday and I met somebody on holiday. Holiday romance. Boys, I've literally done it all in the game. I've done it. I've done every different, apart from getting married and having kids, I'm convinced I've done everything. And again, I got carried away on holiday, met a girl. I literally spent the entire holiday with her. It was meant to be a lad's holiday. And, I didn't ruin the lad's holiday, but she was a very, very, very attractive girl. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I got carried away and I came home and it instantly spiraled into a relationship. And I would spend a week with her. She would spend a week with me. It was long distance. She lived the opposite end of the country to me. It wasn't like I could just get in the car and go and see her 5 minutes down the road. No, she lived 4.5 hours away. I lived up north. She lived down south. And this kind of relationship is very difficult because it's very high emotions. The highs and lows are very high and very low because when you're with them, the time is so valuable because you don't know when you're going to see them again. And when you're not with them, you're not sure if you're ever actually going to see them ever again because they live so far away. And you're like, oh, if we have one argument, then it's not like I can just go 5 minutes down the road and see them and sort it out. She lives 4 hours away. I could be fucked if we have one argument. And to be honest, I was never comfortable or confident in this relationship of it actually lasting. And that told. I always knew it was going to end. And towards the end of the relationship, it lasted about a year. She had this pre-planned before we met. she was moving abroad. She was moving to a different country. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. The morning of her leaving, I was at her house. I'd been there for the last 10 days in the build-up of her leaving. And I was upset. She was upset. And I knew in the back of my mind I was never going to see this girl ever again. Even though we were together, like I knew I was never ever going to see her ever again. And I remember getting out of my car and going in one more time into a house to say like my final goodbye, and driving off the driveway and looking into the wing mirror and seeing her upset and being upset myself. And that was the longest 4.5 hour drive home I'll ever do in my entire life, and the hardest 4.5 hour drive I'll ever do in my life. That was probably one of the hardest things I have ever done in a dating aspect. And I thought I loved the girl, and maybe I did, who knows, maybe I didn't. That's probably the more likely of the two. Maybe it was lust. That's irrelevant for this video. And look, lo and behold, a couple of months later of her moving abroad, there was plans there for me to go out with her at some point. It died. The relationship died, as I kind of subconsciously knew it was going to. Her replies got more infrequent. I got frustrated. And in the end, we mutually decided to call it quits. And yeah, it was upsetting, but what I did next was even worse. I decided to go and get back with ex number one. The first love from when I was 18. I must have been about 22 now at this point, maybe 21. And I decided to hit her up. And within a week, I got back with her. This is what I mean, boys, when there's a lot to learn from me. Regrettably for me, there's a lot to learn from me. Don't get back with your ex-boys. Again, I was filling a void. I wasn't learning the lessons. I was diving straight back into relationships. I wasn't giving myself time to heal. Lo and behold, I got back with my first love. And guess what? After a year, hazard a guess as to what happened? It went tits up again. Boys, if it doesn't work the first time, it's not going to work the second time. You need to accept that. And you need to let go. And that's a lesson I have learned. You have to let go of somebody. Once they're gone, they're gone. And you're never going to get them back. You can if you want to, but you shouldn't want to. You just need to learn to close the door and not want to walk back through it, basically. It's sad, but it needs to be done. You need to almost teach yourself to look back at the good moments with a smile and not resent them, and definitely not want to go back to them. Now, after getting back with my ex and us eventually, inevitably breaking up again, I still didn't learn my lesson. After a couple of weeks, I went on another date with another different girl, and we hit it off, and I got with her. After a couple of months, I got together with her. Straight away, again, not learning my lesson. I got carried away. I was like, oh my God, she's the one. This is the one. This time, I've sorted it out. We're good to go. Boy, was I fucking wrong. She was the most cruel, manipulative girl I have ever been with. Now, the first two girls, I don't actually have anything bad to say about. I can look back at those relationships now, having learned the things I've learned, and just be happy about the time I spent with them and, you know, live and move on away from them. But her, I really let myself down with her. But it's a blessing that I did, because I needed to learn these lessons, because I got complacent. We got together, and about 6 months in, we were meant to be going on a night out in town where I live. And she got ready, and we pre-drank, and she drank a little bit too much, and she felt sick, so she went to the bathroom. And while she was in the bathroom, her phone was on the side, and I'd had suspicions for a few months that something wasn't quite right. My gut was sort of saying to me, something's not right here, Tyler. Like, you need to search. You need to give yourself a bit of reassurance. And her phone was there, and I thought, if I just go into her phone, I get all the reassurance I need. It's wrong. Maybe I shouldn't go into her phone. Maybe that's telling me something about the relationship itself. I logged into her phone. I guessed the password. It was her birthday. If you want to cheat, don't have your password as your birthday. Not a good idea. And I logged into that phone, and I went straight into her Instagram, straight into her DMs. And immediately my gut instinct was confirmed. She's sending explicit photos to other guys. Multiple other guys, not just one or two. And my heart sank like it's never sank before. And it sank in a different way. This wasn't heartbreak. This was disappointment. This was anger. This was almost like a new low, an embarrassment for me, because I always had the mindset this would never happen to me. God, this could never happen to me. I'm a good looking guy. I go on loads of dates with loads of girls. I've had loads of one night stands. I would never get cheated on. Why would anyone ever want to cheat on me? It was such a big hit to my ego, but it was a good hit to my ego. It needed to fucking happen. She came back into my room, and boys, honestly, if you want to deal with a girl cheating on you, this is how you fucking do it. She came back into my room, and very calmly, she was like, oh, can you get me a glass of water? And she could tell something was up. And she said, what's wrong? And I just looked at her and said, get out of my house. She was like, what? And I said, get out of my house. And she was like, what? Why? And I just paused and said, I've seen it all. I've seen your Instagram. Don't lie to me. I've seen it. She paused for 1 second. Face changed, and the lies came. Oh, but I'm insecure. I need attention from other guys. It's not you. It's me. Irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. Bullshit. She splurted bullshit at me. She's like grabbing me by the neck, trying to kiss me. I'm like, get off. And I kicked her out of my house. I knew it was lie after lie after lie after lie. And all I could do in that moment to salvage any form of self-respect and dignity was to calm kick her out of my house. There's nothing else I could have done in that situation. That was the best move on the board for me to do at that moment in time. This was a real turning point for me because I knew that I couldn't just keep doing what I was doing. I can't just keep bouncing back to back to back to back into relationships because this isn't working. I had to look internally. And a big problem with the end of this relationship was all of the relationships kind of hit me at the same time because I didn't give myself the chance between each one. They all hit me in one go and I was like, whoa, fuck, this knocked me off my feet. This knocked me right out of my stride. And I was a bit like, whoa, I've been distracting myself and sort of avoiding feelings. The problem was never getting the girl. The problem was actually me and sustaining the girl and sustaining the relationship. I just wasn't mature enough yet. So why do I do this now? Why have I decided to be a dating content creator? Why have I made this decision? Honestly, it's because of the pain I went through. Now, I think pain and suffering is good for men. I think it builds men. But I think that men can avoid a lot of the stress and trauma that I have been through in relationships just by listening to my story and my advice. Look, I can't avoid you experiencing pain in your life, but I can certainly better equip you for when it inevitably happens at some point. And you need pain because you need to learn from it. And also, men that don't experience pain live in comfort, and living in comfort is not what you want. I've also got 4 younger brothers. I'm the oldest of my 4 brothers. Well, 5. So I kind of take it on my shoulders to take the pain away from everybody. I want to be that older brother figure. I can put out to the world what I've learned and what I've seen in the field. And you can take away from it what you need to take away from it. I want to help you. And maybe I want to help myself by venting a little bit online. So what is this channel actually going to be about? It's not just going to be about me sitting talking head on camera. There's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of previous story videos because I've kind of scraped the surface here in this video, but I've not really delved into it too much. There's going to be educational videos. We might crack the whiteboard out. We might crack the TV screen out. And there's also going to be vlogging style entertainment content. It's going to be a mixture of everything because I want to, really get my life experience in there for you to learn from. And I also want to entertain people as well at the same time through vlogging. Boys, if any part of this video has resonated with you and you've got to the end of it, if you've been where I've been, or if you're scared of going in the direction that I went in, do me a favor and hit subscribe because this is just the beginning. I have got a lot more to say and I'd rather say it to you. See you in the next one, boys.